So, Sammy, um, Lena kind of left like this little script thing that they wanted me to follow, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. It's kind of welcome to the channel. Um, Today we're kind of gonna do a welcome to mental health. Sorry to say, just saying mental health, there's already such stigma and weird controversy. But legit, everyone's had it at least one time or another. And guess what? You're probably going to have it more than once in your life. So don't see why there's such stigma around it. Needless to say, of the mental health issues, there's only a few that are like accepted. Like if someone said that they had anxiety, you'd be like, okay. But if someone was to say, "Oh, I have an eating disorder," most people are like, "What? Why? Like, just eat." It's like not how it works, but nice try. However, despite like some being more accepted than another, like people want to make light of it and kind of joke about it. You see, Lena kind of typed out here, "Oh my God, you are so OCD," or "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just OCD." No, that's no, there's a reason it's obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not just keeping stuff neat. I, it just amazes me. And people just joke about it, not a second look, not a second thought. And it all sounds fairly familiar to you, doesn't it? During this, kind of gonna talk to you about how they'll actually diagnose you. Like, how does the process work? If you're already seeing like a specialist, it's kind of step one. Although for me, I think step one is you admit you have a problem and you need help. Then you kind of get a therapist. But so you begin the journey. Now, what the heck are they even gonna do? There's so many different disorders and things that are like just in the field of medicine. How will they even know what the heck's going on, what I have, like even if I'm telling them what I'm experiencing? Well, luckily, they have this lovely book. This is the DSM-5. I'm not gonna read the whole title. You all can read. It's huge. It's basically just a giant book of all of these mental health disorders and the criteria needed to like get diagnosed with a thing. However, in case you didn't know, you can have more than one, and some of these things sound really similar. So, in my opinion, don't go trying to self-diagnose because even some of these words, like you spend 40 minutes looking it up because you're going, what is this saying? Don't bother trying to Google it. I love Google as much as the next person, but just go to a professional. That way you don't have to have the giant headache of trying to read these really big words. So now you know they have the book of everything that deals with mental health and how they'll diagnose you. Um, but it kind of takes time to get a diagnosis. Um, Despite you having a therapist now, yeah, they can help you put the pieces together and name your struggles, but it's a process. And like even saying you like got into a therapist at, I'm gonna use, I don't know, 10-ish, you might not get a diagnosis until you're 20. Yeah, it's kind of hardcore. It's not just come in and by the time you leave that office in an hour, you have a diagnosis. No, it takes months to years, and it might take longer if you have something that's not common. So yeah, that one little visit, yeah, you're gonna have to have more of them. So hopefully you like your therapist. But so if it takes so long and you're kind of stuck in limbo for the diagnosis, uh, what what do you do? You're probably thinking to myself, wow, are my feelings even valid? I mean, I don't have a diagnosis. Do I even have this thing that I have? Maybe I'm just crazy. And then like that little voice in the back of your head's like, probably not. Here's all of your reasons why it's not. Just because you don't have a diagnosis doesn't mean that you're not like real or valid. You know, even without a diagnosis, you're still experiencing, whatever you're experiencing. That doesn't magically change. You're still experiencing it. And I love this little thing. I'll have to give a shout out to my pain in the ass sister, Lena, because this is kind of what they use to teach people about mental health. Is if you fell off your bike and you broke your arm is still broke. It isn't perfectly fine and then suddenly becomes broken because a doctor looks at it and goes, your arm is broken. And the reason why like made sure that this was in here is because if you fell and broke your arm, it's broke. No one's going to question it. It's broke. If someone walked up to you and said that they had cancer, you don't see it. You wouldn't question it. You'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's awful. Like your life must suck now. You know, you wouldn't question. But the minute that someone says that they have a mental health disorder, like even just depression, people are like, oh, have you been diagnosed? It's just like cancer. It's an invisible thing. You can't see it. Yet people demand to have proof. They demand that you have an official diagnosis. Look, if you don't have an official diagnosis, it doesn't mean that you do not have such and such a thing. All the diagnosis does is put a name to what your struggles are. And it kind of helps people who aren't struggling with it to know what you're going through so they can kind of, help you through it. Doesn't change. Just because a doctor looked at you doesn't mean you've been fine this whole time. Your struggles are real and legit. Now, you can self-diagnose if you want. People aren't going to believe you. But also, you're not medically trained, so you're not even gonna know what the giant book of everything that we talked about earlier, you're not gonna know what it's talking about. So again, just go to someone who understands the words that are a mile long. Just go to them. Save yourself some time. Um, sorry, reading this loveliness that Lena has notes on. What the? Yeah, here. They did like a summary thing. Whether you have a diagnosis or not, you still have it, just like that broken arm. Yeah, kind of summarizes what this whole thing's about. Ha, see? Ha. Just kind of says it again. Whether you have an official diagnosis or not, you still have it. You just don't have a name, and your feelings and experiences are still real for all of you naysayers. So, kind of once again, mental health, it affects everybody. You're going to have it at least once, probably more, just going to be honest. However, because all of this weird stigma crap, people can't, get help. They can't even tell their friends, like, hey, I'm struggling with this, because their friend has no idea. They're just like, oh, that's that made up thing. No, we all got brains. We all can have weird mental health issues. So literally just know and get mental health is real and legit. It affects literally everybody. And just because you don't have an official diagnosis, your struggles are still there. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to hear more from our craziness, hit that subscribe button and the weird bell button. That way, when we post stuff. Um, thanks. See you next time. Peace out, bitches.